obviously a disappointing way to end the football game. I mean, that was one heck of a football game on Friday after Thanksgiving. I mean, both teams fought their tails off. I thought both teams went through adversity and fought through. Being down 10 with 3 minutes to go and being able to, 5 minutes to go and be able to get a touchdown and a stop and a field goal. I thought we had a chance to get in the end zone there. Thought about going for the 4th and 5 and didn't. We were going to go for 2. I thought they sniffed out the play on the good timeout by Blake. And then they had the ball bounce their way on that last fumble. I mean, Levi Williams did a great job in the second half, so give him credit. This team fights their tails off. We just didn't make enough plays at the end of the game to win, and I'm really proud of the kids in that locker room. They made more plays than us, so give them the credit.
It was up in the air all week who was going to start for Utah State.
Mm-hmm.
Who were you guys preparing for? You're preparing for all of them?
From the hit that Cooper Lagasse took, I didn't think he'd be able to play. It looked like he hurt his arm pretty bad. Milstead, I wasn't sure if he was going to or not, so it was a combination of him and Williams, and we'd played Williams twice. We knew they'd probably go to a little bit more quarterback run. They didn't really do it till the second half, and he broke some tackles and made some plays. Made some plays in the scramble game. He made a couple plays, the one in overtime on the second long where he flipped the ball. That was a big-time play to the running back. We prepared for both of them, and he did a nice job in the second half.
One key, overturn call, that 21-yard Jeremiah Hickson TD. What was kind of your read of that in terms of that overturning?
I couldn't see it on the video, so I'm not positive if it was. If they said our guys thought he had his hand underneath it. I don't know. I thought the biggest one was they didn't allow us to substitute our punt team off the field, and we got a stop, and it turned into a touchdown at 21 or whatever the 3-point game was at that time, and then they were able to get a touchdown of that drive. I thought that was bad, and then there were probably missed calls on both sides. Who knows?
Did you feel that there's actually 12 men on the field at that point, or?
I don't know that Gabe got off, but the problem was they didn't hold. When they substituted their punt team late, so we sent our punt return team out. They're supposed to give us the same opportunity they gave them, and they didn't. So Cal thought he did. They'll watch it on tape and get graded on it, and doesn't matter. It doesn't change it.
Coach, after Utah State called the timeout in the first overtime, was that just a matter of there's only a certain amount of 2-point plays that you guys have, and you felt more comfortable with the extra point at that point, or what was?
We did. We had a really good one, and they had snipped it out. We didn't want to take a chance on not getting one and then being behind the chains there, so we went ahead and kicked it to tie it and move it on to the next field goal and take our chance there. Thought we had a really good one. There's you also, if you go into a third overtime, then it just flips 2-point play opportunities, and we thought it would, if we could get there, we'd want to use some of those there.
It didn't look like Dylan was 100% good in the first half, and
he was off a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought he threw the ball really well Thursday in practice, but he missed a couple throws. I thought him and Devin both missed a couple throws throughout the night. They made a couple throws, but I thought they missed a couple.
Danny, why did you make the decision to put Dylan back in after Devin had thrown the touchdown pass?
Devin came out for the first series of the second half. He had a couple throws that were a little bit off. We had the win going into the fourth quarter, and I thought, between myself and Bryant, we thought that Dylan probably would give us the best chance at that moment with Devin having some sparing plays. So, Dylan's a really good quarterback. We'll miss him around here. He didn't quite get to 2,000 yards, which is too bad. But Devin's got a one. He did? Oh, good. Devin's got one bright future ahead of him. And I thought the combination, we played him the best way we thought would give us the best chance to win.
Coach, the last 2 weeks, it was a different team. The team finished pretty strong. What's that say about the program moving forward in the next year?
I think this is exactly what I had said when I took this job. And I think the first 2 years made it a little bit more difficult. We'd be a very competitive football team in year 4. In year 5, we'd have a chance to compete with the upper echelon of this league, and I feel that way. We had 4 guys. We celebrated 4 seniors today. That's it. Now, the transfer portal and all those things open up next week, and there'll be hunting season, and Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt's one of the best running backs in this country. And Devin Dampier's got a chance to be one of the best quarterbacks to ever play here. So I'm sure those guys have already been contacted, and those guys have told me they're not going anywhere. So I think they're loyal to me and to this program. and I'm excited to build upon those pieces. Guys like J.C. Davis, who's been a PFF perennial top 5 lineman all season long, has another year eligibility. I mean, we got some pieces come back. We need to add some pieces. We need to get faster up front on defense. Obviously, that was you could see that some of there out there today. And then we need to build some depth down the middle. I mean, we were playing with sophomore, true freshman, sophomore in the secondary. I think this team has gotten better, and I think it's the makings of a really good team that compete in the upper echelon of this league, and I think it's a great league.
Have you talked to Eddie about your future?
We talk all the time, but I'm sure. I mean, we have we talk at the end of the season, after the season, about what we're going to do. I'm going into year 5 with a good football team. So, I mean, if he ultimately wants to do something else, that's up to Eddie. He's the AD. But I think we've got a great. The trajectory of this and the history of this program is right on where it's always been for the good football teams that Coach Francione, Coach Long, those guys have built. This is the trajectory of it.
It's a weird time. I know it's the same with everybody across the country, but you have to make sure that there's NIL money to keep some of these guys. How much of a factor is that? Because that's beyond the X's and O's that a typical coach has to deal with.
No, that's the new era of college football. So, I mean, that's where the city of Albuquerque and Lobo alumni and fans can step up and see what they can do to help. And hopefully, I mean, that young man that's right there is about to come talk to you guys. He's pretty special.
Coach, you've showed the confidence in your guys all season, but the last 2 weeks, really, as far as getting the key stops exactly when you needed to, what's been the biggest improvement that's led to you guys being able to do that?
They get better and better as the season goes along, and when you got a well-coached team that from all positions, they believe in what you're doing and they get better, and they're young. They're very young. We had very little game experience. So as you get more experience and you get more opportunities, you make more plays and those things. And that's, I mean, that stop by the defense with 3 minutes to go, as good as they ran the ball in the series before, that's as big a football stop as you can get in college football. And then the offense to drive down there and have a chance to get in the end zone and have to settle for a field goal, I mean, that's pretty good team football.
155 penalty yards, I think that puts you guys well over 1,000 on the season. I mean, what's just kind of the path? I mean, it just came from every single kind of sense.
It did. I think some of that, I mean, obviously the personal foul penalties after the hit on DJ, I thought everything got a little bit chippy, and that was bad on both sides. I mean, both teams had over 100 penalties yards. I think they had over 100 in the first half. I mean, when and I've been a part of this before, when you get a reputation for being a team that creates penalties, you get more calls. It's amazing how that works. And I thought there was a bunch of calls that go against us sometimes for that same reason. So obviously, that'll be a big discipline off-season address, and I mean it hurt your football team. We were able to overcome tonight.
Coach, you got down to the 5 at the end of regulation. Then there's the touchdown in overtime. I mean, do you second guess yourself and not trying?
Well, the 4th and 5, I don't. We did the third down. I mean, there was only certain plays because every play has to be in the end zone. We didn't have timeouts. So if you throw one of them short, or they tackle you short of the goal line, then potentially the game's over. When you go for it on 4th and 5, you don't get it, you lose the game. We thought we had to take our chances in overtime. The 2-point conversion, or the 3rd and 1, the 4th and 1, they got penetration on that on the O-line, knocked us back. So now you're looking at 4th and 2. We decided to go ahead and hit the field goal and see if we can get a stop, and had an opportunity to stop, and Levi Williams outran us. You don't second guess. You believe in the players on your team, and they made one more play than us tonight.
Can you talk about the effort that Bill gave you the last couple of weeks? The first player in school history to have 200 yards in 2 weeks.
In 125 years of football, that just goes to tell you how special that young man is. I mean, I love that kid with all my heart, and he gives every ounce of his body for this football program during the game. I mean, you can see him get beat up and come off to the sideline, and Coach V will call for him, and does not matter what's going on with that man's body. He jumps right back up there, and he's special. He's gonna have a chance to play at the next level, which, I mean, it's the pieces that have been around Bill obviously have helped him succeed and be better. I mean, obviously the guys up front have to do a good job for a running back to rush for over 200 yards, especially 2 weeks in a row. But you got to have an elite talent, and Bill has that elite talent. And we got to find a way to keep him around here.
In terms of having a guy like Dylan come in and become the first guy to pass for over 2,000 yards since 2009, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
A long time. I mean, what has just this year meant for you in some ways?
Dylan has been huge for me in this program, and me and Dylan have gotten pretty close. I mean, he was at the house yesterday for Thanksgiving with his mom and his dad and grandma. He has done so much for Devin this year that will help Devin take the claim of being the next great quarterback in this place and have a chance to throw for over 2,000, rush for over 1,000, all those things that Devin can do. Dylan will have a huge hand in that. The experience, the maturity, the lessons, all those things are invaluable. You can't buy them. Wish you could buy experience. I'd sell my house to buy experience. You can't buy it. And all those things that Dylan was able to help Devin with, and you saw Devin grow before your eyes. Dylan, pretty special to this program this year.